Hey, good morning. PB here. Guess where I've been? On a run. I don't like running, and I really don't like running when it's hot and humid. But you do what you have to do. It's a means to an end for me, and that's life, right? We do some things we don't feel like doing so that we can accomplish something that ends up making us feel really good. So there's a random thought to begin with. Um, Here's a few other random thoughts on this Wednesday. I've devoted Wednesday email to good news for a couple of reasons over these last few months. Reason one, I think we all need some good news in the midst of all the bad news. And then we need the good news of Jesus. And I thought about that this morning. The good news of Jesus, that's a lot of good news for us, but it's good news for others. And the gospel actually calls our attention to the bad news and calls us to do something about it. I thought of how Jesus launched his ministry. Luke chapter 4, coming out of that time of testing in the wilderness, and then in a synagogue message preached from the prophet Isaiah, Jesus said this: "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to release the oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." The gospel, the good news of Jesus, compels us to wade back into the world and do something good about the bad stuff that's happening, including the things that are happening these days, including this issue of racism in our country. And I trust and pray that with God's grace, we're all on that journey. I continue to confess that for a good bit of my faith journey, that issue and others didn't get the attention that they really should. And I have endeavored in these last few years especially to get up to speed and let God work in and through me at that point. I thought this morning, another random thought, that confession, some say the confession is good for the soul. And it is. It's good for my soul, but it's also good for the souls. My confession is good for the souls of others. We need to be humble toward each other. A couple of other verses came to mind. James chapter 4, verse 10, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." And then in 1 Peter, I think it's chapter 3. Can I find that? The Apostle Peter said, "Clothe yourselves with humility," chapter 5, "with humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble." So let's be humble. Let's be humble toward each other in these days and in all days. Hey, I think we've got an extra special service coming up this Sunday. The theme of it is the difference Jesus makes. And you'll hear some great testimonies from a few of your brothers and sisters at GCN. And I think it's an especially good service, a good Sunday, planned intentionally for all of us to invite our friends, our neighbors, perhaps family members that don't yet know Christ, that don't yet have a church. I've got 8 or 10 that I'm going to invite to that, and I hope that you will too. And I hope that you're doing well. I hope this day is a blessed day for you, that God's presence is near and real. That's it. Hope to see you soon. Take care.